Hello, welcome to another episode of the Bear Report podcast. I am BlackBerry Brad from BearReport.com. As always, we are joined by Art Trap over at nerdberry.net. How's it going today, Art?
Good, Brad. How's it going over there?
Not too bad. We're struggling through some technical difficulties and stuff here, but we're getting this podcast on their way. Sorry for the long hiatus. We are not really long. It's short compared to our last hiatus. But we were both busy. We had technical difficulties, things at work, and all that stuff. But we're back at it. We're ready to talk some BlackBerry Key 1. Some exciting news coming out of the BlackBerry Mobile Camp. We finally have word of BlackBerry Key 1 release dates. Some folks over in the UK are starting to get it themselves. Some retailers and such are able to sell it now. And here in the States, May 31st is coming around the corner, and that's when we are going to be able to pick up the BlackBerry Key 1. How excited are you, Mr. Art?
Yep, I can't wait to get my hands on it. I really, really can't wait. Excuse me. I've been watching some of the unboxing videos and reviews and things of that nature so far, and it looks like a pretty daggone solid, good device that is going to feel great in your hand and make you really productive.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a great, getting some great reviews. I mean, there's companies out there, or sites out there like Engadget and BGR that are giving it positive reviews, which is some rare things from coming out of the BlackBerry camp with other sites itself. But yeah, exciting news with the so far so good, like I said, and I'm just excited. I think this is one of the most excited I've been for a BlackBerry device in a very, very long time on my end.
I definitely agree with you there. I've got the Priv. I've still got it sitting right here next to me. It's a great device. I just can't wait for this one. This one just seems really interesting, really fun to use, and I think it's going to turn a lot of heads.
Yeah, definitely it's going to turn a lot of heads, and it's going to, I think it's going to do well for the BlackBerry camp, BlackBerry mobile camp, and anyone who else is involved. So I'm excited. We're working on getting our review units over here. Is working on getting. It's going to be a great looking device. It's a great looking device. We're ready to go, and very excited to get it. So unboxings over at UTB blogs, we saw an unboxing video. We saw their first impression video. The site over there, and check out. I wrote up a topic list, and of course, I forget where we were. So for the folks over on BlackBerry 10, June 30th is a kind of a scary date for some folks who are using WhatsApp. Right? I know I've used WhatsApp a little bit. I don't use it too much, but I know there's tons of people on BlackBerry 10 that are using WhatsApp. And June 30th is the day that WhatsApp will be discontinuing their BlackBerry 10 application for that service. So it's a scary day. A lot of people haven't really known what they're going to do. They love BlackBerry 10. They're still sticking with BlackBerry 10, but WhatsApp is their messaging platform to go to, whether it's to stay in contact with certain people or all their family and friends or their coworkers or whatnot. But now they have a solution. So still cranking out BlackBerry 10 application, which is great to see for those of us who are big fans of the BlackBerry 10 ecosystem. They've actually come out with an application called What's Up 10. Pretty catchy name there. It's pretty much a Android port of WhatsApp, or version of WhatsApp. One that they kind of tweaked it on their end. It's $2.99 in BlackBerry World. It pretty much has a lot of the same features over with app does BlackBerry 10 currently. So this would give BlackBerry 10 users a great solution for WhatsApp if they're looking to use something come July 1st.
No, absolutely. And I'm just kind of pulled up some of the features on the excuse me, on the app. You got the custom look with themes and actual theme store for the app. integrated hub notifications, video calls, voice calls, obviously. You can set your status up to 250 characters instead of just 139. App security lock, ability to hide chats, emojis, ban proof.
Yep.
Sending a broadcast up to 600 contacts, backup and restore option. So it seems like it's basically, the full on Android version with a few tweaks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the full blown Android, or it's pretty much WhatsApp right on BlackBerry 10, and it's a great solution. Personally, I have never really dived into WhatsApp, so I can't. I've tried loading it up. I just haven't really talked to anybody on WhatsApp, because my go-to platform is BlackBerry 10, and it's not BBM for messaging, and that's where I've gone for chatting for anybody. And if they don't chat with me on BBM, then either I don't chat with them, or I suffer through a text message conversation with them if I need to. But I personally say if you're using WhatsApp right now on BlackBerry 10, you're kind of worried. Get all your friends and family to switch over to BBM. But if you can't convince them, WhatsApp 10 is going to be a great solution for you. It's $2.99, and before you start saying, "Oh, that's too much money for an application," keep in mind these guys are still rocking and rolling with BlackBerry 10 and with BlackBerry 10 app development. And some of these developers, like we said on previous podcasts, where some of these developers, this is where they develop, and that's where the only place they develop, and this sometimes is how they make their livelihood. So that $2.99 goes a long way on their end, and also helps support the application, bring new updates, bring performance out of the application itself. So $2.99 in my book is not bad at all for a price. To make sure that you can still use WhatsApp on BlackBerry 10.
Definitely not $2.99. Is really not that big of a deal for a great app. Especially with those features.
Studios has been put out some great. Face 10 is using a BlackBerry, looking for a Facebook client. The mobile browser is fine, Facebook version, but Face 10 was actually a pretty good version. The last time I used it, I was having little issues with it, but before that, it was running really, really smoothly on BlackBerry 10. So, Memory Studios and BlackBerry World, you can check the link in either Bear Porter's post or for you. So, last week, Art and I were privileged to attend a webinar hosted by BlackBerry, behind the scenes a little bit about BlackBerry Workspace. So BlackBerry Workspace is pretty much a way to protect your files everywhere they travel. So between you or coworkers or inside the office and stuff like that, to make sure your files are safe. Some of the core use cases for Workspace: there's secure file sharing, secure file synchronization, mobilize existing repositories, secure mobile productivity, and so much more for Workspace. And I really love the webinar itself. Art, what do you think about it?
The webinar was great, very informative. I did have a couple questions, and because I didn't get to catch the actual live webcast, I did check out the replay, and I had a couple of questions. So I emailed over to Dan, and he sent me an email back and answered basically everything I needed to know. And I thought I had it opened, and fortunately I did close it. But let's see here. Okay, so my number one question that I didn't hear, and it could have been because I was doing multiple things, but the cost and the storage limits on the on it, I should say. I didn't hear much about that, so I just wanted to kind of touch base on that. So basically, a standard user, it's $15 a month. You get a 1 terabit cloud storage, unlimited storage for on-premise, share files up to 10 gigabytes. That's a huge file. I don't know exactly what you're storing there, maybe some media or videos or whatever. You get 24/7 phone support and web support for 5 named contacts. DRM protection for online and downloaded Office PDFs and image files. The best part is it's multi-platform. You can file sync with Windows, Mac, Mac OS X, iOS, Android, BlackBerry 10, and it also sends large files directly from your desktop using Outlook and mobile. So, I know I'm really fascinated about this in itself because there's so many different ways that you can basically protect your files, your documents. The what was the main thing that it was the basically you can set a time limit if I remember correctly, Brad, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was you could set a time limit for users to be able to access change data or whatever on each file if you chose to. So I thought that was kind of like a pretty cool James Bond get smart type this message, Inspector Gadget, this message is going to explode in 10 seconds, stuff like that. I thought that was kind of cool. But I want to hear what you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, some of the cool features. I mean, one of my favorite features about it is the fact that you can see who is it. So you send out this file to a group of coworkers or a group of people you're managing in your division or wherever you want to call it. You can see who's accessing this file. So you can say, "Here's document X, Y, and Z. Check it out, and tell me what you think about it, or I want something done on it, whatever." You can see who accessed it. Right, you can see if Joe Schmo from accounting accessed it. You can see if the janitor who's has a smartphone that's on the network somehow got it. You can track their IP address. You can see device that it's using. You can see where it was accessed. You could see how it was accessed. Pretty much anything that happens to this file, you could see what happened to it. And it extends to, like I said, OneDrive for Business, SharePoint Online. Windows can be pretty much used on any platform: BlackBerry 10, Android, iOS, Windows, Mac OS, and there's a web-based version of it. And there's 256-bit encryption with every file that's transferred and stored inside BlackBerry Workspace. So these things are not getting hacked. And if you think about one of the big news stories that come out over here in the States and I'm sure around the world, there's that Netflix show, Orange is the New Black, right? So that there's hackers who got access to that. The episodes of that show, I think there was just one or two, or I think a whole season actually of it, and they have access to those episodes because there's poor transmission or poor storage of these episodes of Orange is the New Black. And if you think if that company was using BlackBerry Workspace, then we know who's accessing these files right now, and it's kind of when we it's crazy how things like this happen when you start learning about new products and you're like, just open up to it more. But it's real-time usage and people can access and edit files and everything, but you can see everything that they're doing. And they're secure large file transfers. So back in the day when you used to do FTP transfers and everything like that, you can forget what the limit, they're pretty what there are now, but like you said, there's 1 terabyte of stuff or information you can store. I think it's just I think it's something that companies should be using everywhere.
I do agree with you wholeheartedly. And one thing to hit on, should you max out that 1 terabit because you're storing a lot of media files or things of that nature. BlackBerry does offer more storage space in the cloud. And from what I understand, it's just basically a pass-through rate. So, whatever the cost BlackBerry's paying to store your data, server cost or whatever it may be, it's just getting passed through. They're not making any margin on that, from what I could tell. Dan made a really good, interesting piece, or talked about it in an interesting way, and how much money it actually will save larger corporations and companies. For instance, when he was talking about when Hollywood writers would send scripts out to actors or actresses. They would actually literally get a courier, take the script, stick it in a locked briefcase, handcuff the briefcase to the courier. The courier would then fly from LA to wherever in the world the actor that they're wanting to pitch is. The courier would then unlock the briefcase, hand the script over to the actor, stand there while the actor read it. The actor would hand the script back. It would go back in the locked briefcase, and he'd fly all the way back to LA where it could be stored. Now, with Workspace, instead of it taking several hours or days for that courier to travel back and forth, it's literally as soon as the script's uploaded into the cloud, they can send it to whoever they want. They can monitor it, so on and so forth. And it's going to save a ton of money for these companies that are sending couriers and packet or documents via via physical mail or physical couriers. They're going to save a ton of money on this.
Yeah, I mean, one of the use cases that they were talking about, one of the companies that are currently United States Postal Service is, for anybody that's not in the States here, that's pretty much who handles all the mail here in the States. The United States Postal Service, any small packages. I mean, you can ship anything pretty much. United States Postal Service, whatever if you're willing to pay their rates, and that company itself uses BlackBerry Workspace to make sure their internal HR files and everything like that are securely transferred between point A to point B, or the device to the destination. And it's you can add drop of a dime, you can change the permissions on these documents that someone has access to. And it just, to me, small businesses, big businesses, huge corporations, they should all be using the BlackBerry Workspace. And I think it's just, especially with anything that's going on in the world today, like going back to the Netflix episodes being leaked or being held hostage for ransom. If they had a BlackBerry Workspace, I highly doubt that those things are going to happen. If you don't have it in your device, and it's it's a great little feature to see. BlackBerry rolling out, BlackBerry pushing. I'll have a more in-depth write up about BlackBerry Workspace on Beer Reporter, and I know Art's working on something as well on his end, but stay tuned for that. And
Absolutely.
Check out BlackBerry Workspace. If you go to blackberry.com/enterprise, you can read more about it there as well. Other big thing that came out while we were kind of away, we're kind of touching base on things that we kind of missed over the past 2 weeks. BBM News. So they kind of snuck this into there at first, and then they started making a little news about it. BBM News is a great little feature inside of BlackBerry Messenger that you can actually have news stories right then and there inside BBM. You can read news stories. You can share the stories with your followers. Art over on the YouTube version of this a podcast is now showing off BBM News. I've been actually using it a lot lately. I kind of ditched my CNN app and ditched my other news applications that I've been using directly this, and I really like it. What do you think about it, Art?
I think it's freaking amazing, to be honest with you. It's literally there at a touch of a button for you. Just kind of scrolling through so everybody could kind of get an idea as to what's going on with it. But the ads, they're still there on the Android devices as far as I could tell. But you got sponsored content now. You can do paid content there as well. So it's basically integrated all of the news, a lot of the news, not all of the news, but a lot of the news, and also updates through BBM and things of that nature. Status updates and what people are listening to. Is I'm scrolling through Hockey Sean's listening to History by Michael Jackson, and so on and so forth. But all in all, it's actually a pretty cool feature. I just can't wait till it gets a little bit more refined. I think it's great, and they've got a great thing going. It's just, when is it going to be more defined? I think is it's a key question right now.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back about a month or so ago, I think we were talking about here on other podcasts like the UTB blog podcast or the New Team BlackBerry podcast. Little cheap plug there for both those shows. We talked about how BBM, we kind of wished it was it would became a little bit more, because BBM is a great messaging platform, right? But we all know that in the BlackBerry community, we know it as a great messaging community platform. Folks who have used BBM in the past know it's a great messaging platform anymore, but they don't really think of it anymore. And I think BBM News is a great way to kind of give you a one-stop shop concept for checking out with your friends. You got BBM channels, so you can also check out little tidbits and everything, that some social aspect of BBM. Now you got BBM News, which is in there, and you can fix and share news and again socialize and share things with your friends and family members and stuff like that inside BBM News. And there's also, mentioned this, but there's also BBM games in there. I haven't really tested that stuff out yet, but there's an option for BBM games in there that you can play games as with BBM users and such. And so it shows that BBM is trying to go in different aspects of not just being a messaging platform. Like we've been hoping they don't just stay there. And it's really nice seeing it. And like I said, BBM News works great. It's got sports. It's got local news, political news, any type of entertainment stuff. And look, for some people love their sports news, some people love their political stuff, some people love their entertainment and Hollywood and celebrities. It's all in there. BBM News is right there, and it's on all versions of BBM. I haven't checked actually BlackBerry 10 BBM yet, but if it's not there, I'm sure it's somehow going to get there, and update that will yet to be determined. But unfortunately, BlackBerry 10 BBM is kind of getting a little cold shoulder right now from the folks over at the BBM team. But hopefully we'll come to those. If it's not in BBM, someone let us know in the comments below in the video, or message us or something like that, and let us know if it's in BlackBerry 10, or I'll investigate it myself as well. Check it out if you haven't. It's in one of the tabs. I forget what tab it's called.
It's under
Discovery, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And actually, I just went into it and bypassed a bunch of screens, and I'm booting up something called Pudding Land 2. I don't know if y'all can see that, but this is actually in BlackBerry Messenger.
Yeah, so that's one of the BBM games for those who are watching the podcast live on YouTube, or the replay live on, not live on YouTube, but yeah, it's in the Discover tab. You can check out BBM News. There's also BBM games there for you to play as well while you're killing time or whatever that you're doing. So the other thing that rolled out last night, actually, some BlackBerry Hub Plus Suite updates, some beta updates, not official updates yet, but I'm sure they're coming down the pipeline. Usually when they hit beta, they're not far behind the official thread and stuff. Did you get those updates last night, Rob?
No, I haven't. Actually, you know what? I think I actually did. I did. I did pull those last night. I just really, I haven't been able to use the Prev in a while, because it's been kind of put aside charging since the updates. I had a ton of updates to do, and I'm one of those ones that I don't like to update too much. And when I saw there was like 80 updates on my Prev, I was just like, yep, I'm just going to switch over to the Pixel and let it do its thing. And to be honest with you, it was so daggone slow doing the updates, man. But once it finished, everything's rolling smoothly, and if it wasn't all my personal emails showing, well, I could go here and show all the spam and crap that I get. But it's flowing smoothly, and I'm still infatuated with this dark theme. Are you using the dark theme? Speaking of,
oh yeah, I mean the dark theme is loaded up on. The way I have it, I have BBM or BlackBerry Hub on my Priv, of course, and I also have it on my Galaxy S7. So if I ever pick one of my S7, I have a quick access to my emails and such like that. But both of them are rocking that dark theme. I wish that theme was on BlackBerry 10. I know if you download the what's it called, BlackBerry 10 Hub Plus inside the BlackBerry 10 app world, you can get a dark theme inside that. But I really wish that dark theme was inside BlackBerry 10 Hub.
It would definitely be nice, for sure.
Pretty sick.
What the heck?
For class, that would look nice. Wishful thinking of. There's just more bug fixes and such. But it is nice seeing that they're still rolling out these updates. We heard a couple weeks ago, we talked about BlackBerry not doing any more beta updates for Android BlackBerry, but they're still doing beta updates for the BlackBerry Hub Plus Suite applications. Not all of them received the update as well, so I think calendars, notes, tasks, Hub and the BlackBerry Hub Plus, things like task or password keeper, and I think contacts actually got the update as well. But yeah, roll it out. If you're not part of the beta program, go check out betazone.blackberry.com/beta to check them out. So the other thing we didn't really talk about on our site itself like that, Crackberry kind of threw out this topic itself, and I thought it was an interesting topic because I've been a fan of different color phones. But what do you think about the Key One's color tone right now, the way it looks as far as color? Would you rather have it the way it is now, and what other colors would you like to see it in?
You know, the way the Key One is currently set up, it's classic BlackBerry, right? You've got your stainless steel bezel, or I think it's aluminum or whatever it may be, but your silver and black is classic. It's classy. It's a BlackBerry. You know, you can go and pick up a Pixel, and I'm only using Pixel because I'm sitting in front of one right now, and get the blue, which looks nice. But to be honest with you, yeah, it is what it is, right? I miss just the straight black, silver, colors. But I've had a lot of my friends talk about, like, for instance, the iPhone, the red iPhone, and then what was it, the BlackBerry Z10 when they released the developer edition, the red one. I'd like to see more bright colors, like reds, and maybe some I know my wife would die for like a Tiffany blue type phone, something just spontaneous. But we're talking about a Key One, BlackBerry Key One. BlackBerry's known for their classic tones. I mean, we had the classic in a couple different colors, and years and years ago we had all of the other devices in blues and golds and blacks and white, and just cool colors to get. If you're not a businessman, so to speak, right? So I think that's right now. I think that's what they're trying to appeal to, is the higher end customer, because the phone is a higher end device at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that the BlackBerry Priv in a pure dark black tone itself. I mean, it's always felt like I don't want to say, I've had different color devices. I have had the white Passport is one of my favorite white devices that have been out. And, I had the white Z10 or the Z30, the white BlackBerry Bold 9900. That was a nice looking device.
Oh, that was beautiful.
But the black on the Priv, and even the black on the Classic, they always made me feel like professional devices and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of the look that they were going with the Key One, and I think they hit the look right on the head. Maybe a pure black look would be kind of cool, but I don't have any problem with it. Would I like a white one? Absolutely, bring it on. But I think it's fine the way it is right now as far as color goes. But it'd be nice. I doubt that they will. If they would have came out already with them. But
I'd be surprised if they actually released some colors in the Key One. Like you said, it makes you feel a little bit more professional. And from what I've been told from the people that have actually handled the Key Ones recently, it feels good in your hands. It looks good. It feels good. Some of the photos and videos that I've seen so far, it just seems that it may be a little bit awkward, but I can't say for sure because I've never actually felt it. I know that the rubberized back on like the Prev is almost, if I'm not mistaken, it's the same as it's on the Key One or close to it. So that's definitely going to add some a better premium quality feel to the device.
Yeah, I mean, I just I really want this device. We were just talking off the air, kind of gotten some updated things here as far as I got a camera, it's got some new studioized lighting and stuff ready for my BlackBerry Key One unboxing to come out and ready to record that thing. And I just need that device in my hands.
Definitely.
The Key One is it's coming May 30th. Was it May 31st here in the States? And May 31st can't come enough. I would love to have a pre-order date. I don't know why they're not doing pre-orders in the States, and which is
it's that's kind of weird too, right?
So May 18th is the time the pre-order in Canada. And what's nice is here in the States is that they're offering both the CDMA and the GSM unlocked come May 31st. We don't know, we know carriers are coming down the pipeline later this summer, which in BlackBerry term that could mean September 1st technically.
But remember, we're not dealing with BlackBerry, right? So
this is BlackBerry Mobile. This is a different company. Hopefully they do it differently. Sprint has actually come out and said we're carrying it. BlackBerry Mobile broke news, said, hey, Sprint's going to be carrying it. And Marcelo Clare, I believe his last name is, the CEO of Sprint, said, hey, yeah, we're bringing a BlackBerry Key One to Sprint, which is nice for Sprint customers because the last device they had is a Q10, and that's, we're talking, when the October 2013 is the date that the Q10 was launched on Sprint. I know that. But yeah, it's nice to see that Sprint's getting, if Sprint's getting, and not going to start putting money on it, but Verizon, Mobile, and AT&T probably will have it as well if Sprint's got it, unless it's some kind of exclusive with Sprint here in the States.
It very well could be. We've seen that in the past many times with many different devices.
Is mentioning Sprint right away and not anybody else, but which is good for Sprint, but it kind of stinks for other folks looking to get this thing on carrier.
Let me ask you this, man. What is your opinion about buying an factory unlocked from, let's say, BlackBerry or Apple versus buying it through the carrier? Outside of your payment schedules with the carrier, what other benefits or what do you like about buying direct from a carrier versus buying just an unlocked phone directly from the manufacturer? That's something we've never actually hit on, and I'm kind of getting off topic, but I was kind of curious.
No, I mean, it's a great, the nice thing about the carrier is, like you said, you hit it right on the head. You got, nowadays here in the States, I know Canada does a little bit differently still. The commitment of the contract terms and stuff, and all the carriers in the States don't advertise this, but if you go into a store and ask for one, they'll give you a contract too if you want. Most of them aren't going to advertise it and offer it to you when you walk into the door or call them up over the phone or anything like that. But that's the nice thing about buying from a carrier. You can go to an AT&T store, a Sprint store, a Verizon store and say, hey, I want that phone right there. I want that BlackBerry Key One. And they're going to be like, okay, you get $23 a month or whatever it is on your bill, and you pay it until you pay it off. Those concepts are great because, especially for people who are looking to upgrade their phone constantly, people like you and me, I go through a couple phones a year sometimes, and it's great for those type of people who don't, I don't do them anymore because I like to hang on to my phones after I'm done with them. I got a whole collection of BlackBerry devices sitting in my closet right now because I've held on to them. But it's nice if you're not looking to hold on to them, you can be like, all right. Some carriers like AT&T does it. Sprint does it right now with their iPhones and Galaxy devices. What do they call it? The iPhone Forever or Samsung Forever program. I don't know if they'll do it for the BlackBerry Key One, but pretty much what it is, you pay a lease payment every month, and then after a year, you can trade in your device, get into a new device, and but it's that same. For instance, with Sprint, if you do the iPhone Forever program, you have to buy an iPhone every year. Same thing with Samsung. If you buy a Samsung device, you have to buy a Samsung device.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now with like AT&T and you have T-Mobile, so you can probably tell me a little bit more about T-Mobile's program itself. AT&T has AT&T Next, and they have different tiers now. I forget. I think they changed it recently, but I know for when I bought the BlackBerry Priv, I did it through AT&T. I did it with AT&T Next, and I did a one year. Pretty much after a year, I could upgrade my phone. I'd have to give it my Priv though to get a new device, which is, to me, I don't like that concept because hold on to this device after I'm done using it, But that's a nice thing. So instead of having to shell out $500 or these phones are expensive. If you look at the iPhone 7, it's $649.99, I believe, with no contract. The Galaxy S8, I believe, is roughly about $700. So if you look at some of these devices, they're pretty expensive. The BlackBerry Key One is $549 here in the States. It's pretty, it's on the cheaper end on the devices, but that's a lot of money to shell out right away.
It is. It absolutely is. And with T-Mobile, they have, if I understand it correctly, they have two different jump plans. You got jump, and then they got jump on demand. And I guess about 2 years ago, I'm like you. I'd rather hold on to my devices instead of just constantly jump up. I'd rather pay, the $20 a month or whatever, or buy it straight up and call it good. But I picked up a couple LG G4s about 2 Christmases ago or Christmas ago, something like that. Anyways, and I said, you know what? We caught it on a deal, and I said, you know what? Let's just do the jump deal. What they don't tell you with some of these jump programs or these lease programs, I don't know if this is how it is with AT&T or whatnot, but I know with the 2 G4s, the LG G4s that we picked up for my mother-in-law and for my son, after the first year or a year and a half or so, you have to either pay out the rest of the remaining on the lease, which I think on those two was like $102, or they allow you to extend it 9 months and take the payment from like $17 or $18 down to $12 or something. I mean, we're only talking $102, but I wasn't expecting that to hit the bill. So I was just like, what's this charge? They're not, at least with T-Mobile, and maybe it was just the one location we went to, but they didn't fully explain the whole deal with that lease on demand or jump on demand. With that one, you can trade your device, I think, up to 3 or 4 times in a year. Why you would do that, I have no freaking idea. But I can see doing it once, maybe twice, depending on what you're looking for. But not 3, 4 times, 5 times, whatever it is. But so sometimes these leases don't always pan out for people, I guess, is where I'm going with that. The good thing is most people qualify for 0% interest. So instead of coming out of pocket, $700-800 for a brand new iPhone or a brand new S8, they can make the payments, and it's not costing them anything additional. Not typically.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is everybody needs to read the fine print. Unlike myself, $102 isn't too bad, but it is what it is. I just read your fine print, people.
Yeah, I mean, it's great because, like you said, there's 0% interest, and if you're going to go buy a phone outright, right, most of the time you're not going to walk in there with $600-700 in cash. You're most likely to put it on some kind of credit card of some sort. What do we all pay with credit cards? We pay interest, right? So if you buy BlackBerry Key 1 5 you can use your Visa credit card or your Discover credit card, whatever you're using, you're paying whatever it is, percentage of interest towards that, compared to if you lease it with or do the installment plans with the carriers, you're getting it 0%. You're not paying anything extra for that device, but you're paying it. But I will say this: if you do a price comparison to some devices on like AT&T, some of the carriers will do this. They'll up the price a little bit on that device compared to what the actual retail. They don't do it on the iPhones because I think they have something in there that says. I know the Priv itself. When I did the Priv, I was actually paying a little bit extra for it because I think the Priv came out $6 something, and then with AT&T it was like $749 or something like that. So I paid a little extra to get it through them, At the time it was fine because I wanted that device and I wasn't in a position to handle $600. But and the benefits of not buying through the carrier. So we touched on the other half. Let's deal with it. The BlackBerry, the unlocked BlackBerry devices, you're getting the software updates right away.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about going through the carrier or waiting for the carriers to get the update from BlackBerry. And they get pushed directly to your device. So, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, there are many benefits that I've seen so far about buying direct from either Shop BlackBerry or Apple or the Google store for the Pixels or whatever. Yeah. I think BlackBerry at one point was thinking about doing it and never actually did. I'm not sure how Apple handles it, but I know with the Google store is doing the payments too. So, I mean, if you've got decent enough credit, they're going to give you the phone, on a credit line. You pay 20, 30, 40, whatever dollars a month it is for 2 years, 0% interest. It's the same thing as doing carrier financing, but you're not going through the carrier. So you do have a separate bill, but you're at 0% interest typically. I guess it just depends on knowing your credit rating,
Yeah, I mean, I know Apple does that as well, and Google does that with their final, but they're a little heavier on the credit rating, like you said, where the carriers, they have to run your credit here. I mean, we're talking about this in the States. Yeah. I don't know how it is in over the UK or Canada or anything, but if let us know in the comments for this video how it is in different parts of the world for your carrier, and let others know what you think the best way of buying your devices. But here in the States, for the carriers to get an account with AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile, you have to run your credit. They have to do a credit check on you to get you signed up for that account, and then your credit determines what you're approved for. If you're approved for 5 lines no deposit, or 2 lines and you have some kind of deposit, or they don't do deposits anymore. They make you pay. If you don't have great credit, what the carriers will do is say, okay, we approved you for 3 lines, but you have to put X amount of dollars down for that device, and then you'll pay this amount for the device every month. So if you put $100 down on the phone up front at time of sale, you have to pay, whatever the remaining cost is to spread out over that time frame of 2 years or 24 months, or I'm sorry, 1 year or 2 years. But with Google or the iPhone or Apple, you don't have that kind of benefit of doing it. So when the carriers do their credit check for your account already, that's you get approved for that service. You also get approved for that financing term. With Android, with Google Play, or with Apple, you're only going through that credit process for just that device or for that purchase that you're getting there.
You're absolutely right there. But I think you're right. I know with Google, because I ended up doing that with the Pixel, to get the higher end device. I think I can't remember who it's financed through, but excuse me, I did it, and it's like, you can get the phone, a case, and basically all your accessories at one shot. Now, of course, me, I'd rather go to eBay and buy a daggone half-shelled OtterBox like I did the other day, but that's a whole different story. I think what they're doing is, I think they're actually letting you keep that credit line there with them. And should your device break, or should you want to upgrade your phone, that credit line's always going to be there unless you close that account, obviously. So that's kind of nice to know that, hey, you can always go back and re-up and get an upgrade on the same credit line and not have that interest. Because at the end of the day, I mean, who the hell wants to pay all the interest anyways? I mean, not me. I don't want to pay it. I don't think you do either, right?
Concept. So if you buy insurance, and for Shop BlackBerry, when they were selling the Passport and the Classic, they had their own little kind of insurance program. I believe you paid like, I forget, depending on the device, you paid like $3 per month, and then you had protection for physical damage or liquid damage, and you paid a deductible, at time of damage or time of claim, whatever. But other than that, a lot of the times when you buy a device unlocked, if you buy it, I forget if Shop BlackBerry had this for the Priv or not, but if you buy it from the manufacturer unlocked, though, there's no guarantee that you kind of have any type of, insurance plan or insurance program. And if you bring that device to the carrier and say, hey, I want to use this unlocked BlackBerry Priv on AT&T, AT&T is going to be like, okay, we can't offer you an insurance, though, because you didn't buy it directly from us, so our insurance program doesn't work. Now, there's other insurance programs you can do, like I know, I think there's like Square Trade, and there's different insurance plans. But if you're used to using the carrier's insurance program, which is done through Shorion for most of them, you won't be able to do that on the unlocked devices, without going somewhere else.
No, you're absolutely right. I think when I bought the Priv from Shop BlackBerry, though, I do think I think they did give me the option to buy the insurance directly through them.
Yeah, I kind of remember there was that option to do some kind of insurance. I don't think it was like, I forget the actual pricing it was for Shop BlackBerry and their insurance plan for buying it through.
I wanted to say it was like a flat fee of like $100. If I'm not, I could be wrong. I thought it was a flat fee of like $100
for the. I had to use mine for the passport. So.
Oh shoot, man.
Yeah, that's another story. But my passport took a little dip into the Atlantic Ocean, so But yeah, so it was there. But you can't. If you're someone like me who really doesn't use insurance on their devices and pretty good with their device, and if I need to, I can most of the time fix my own devices and replace my screens and stuff like that. But if you're somebody who doesn't need insurance, that's not really a big thing that applies to you. But if you're someone who does or thinks there might be a chance of you damaging that device, keep in mind, if you're paying for this device unlocked, you're paying the full retail cost up front, right? So if you buy a BlackBerry Key 1 at $550, and 6 months down the road you drop it down a flight of stairs and the screen cracks, so you drop it in the ocean, or whatever you do with it, the only way to get that thing replaced without insurance is paying $550 again. So insurance does come in handy for some folks, but there's ways of getting it. But if you're looking to go through the carrier, you wouldn't be able to do it if you buy it unlocked from the manufacturer. But to me, to kind of go back to the beginning of that question, what I prefer, I would I did the carrier stuff with the Priv, and Key 1, I'm definitely going directly through the carrier, or not. I'm going directly through the unlocked route for this device.
Definitely. So I think I would agree with you there.
Yeah.
If not, we're going to be waiting until the end of the summer, maybe September.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's one weird thing about the Key 1 launch in the States. We don't really know any official wording with the carriers, where Canada, we all know pretty much every Canada carrier is getting this device. And it's, coming out same day that here in the States, but in the States, we have to buy them unlocked through some other way. We don't know yet how we're buying this device unlocked yet either, which is, hopefully we'll hear about that, come, May 18th when the pre-orders start going available for Canada. But, we're sitting tight. We're excited for the BlackBerry Key 1. If we get any devices in our hand, we'll be sure to fire up the cameras and do unboxings and all that stuff. But keep it here for bearport.com. Keep it for go check out UTV blogs. They have a device there. Go check out their content. They have some pretty cool videos up, and they have their first impression video up right now. It's pretty cool, and they're unboxing. So go check them out. I have nothing else for this week, Art. I think we're fresh out of topics for this week.
So. I think we're good, man. I think we covered everything we needed to cover.
All right, man. So for those who are watching us on YouTube, thank you very much. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. Definitely helps us out. It looks like Art is buying things on eBay over there. But yeah, hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button helps us out, helps get our videos out there for others to see who are interested in BlackBerry, just haven't found us yet. And for those who are waiting for listen to us on the audio version of the podcast, make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast listening application, whether it be iTunes or Pocket Cast or Google Play. We are also available on Google Play. And thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you check us out next week here on the Bear Report podcast. BlackBerry Brad out.
See ya.